right, well, welcome everyone to Health for Life Cooking. This is the Healing Power of Plant Foods cooking class. I'm really excited to have you here tonight. In the kitchen with me is Jan, back there cutting up some basil for me. She's going to try to keep me somewhat sane and organized. So I'm going to start off with just telling you a little bit about myself, just so you kind of know where I'm coming from with all of this. I come from a pretty standard American family who ate the standard American diet, and they all got, and when I say all, I mean like 99.9% of them got the standard American diseases: heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Both my parents died of cancer, and aunts, uncles, grandparents, all diabetes and heart disease. And as I was watching this, as I was growing up, I decided, you know, I want to do something to change what many would say is my genetic destiny. I always knew inside that there was something that I could do to make my life a little bit better, you know, health-wise. And so as I got older and started having some health issues myself and was battling my weight, I was seeking out nutrition information and just stumbled upon some books and educated myself and discovered the healing power of plant foods and how they can drastically improve your health. And so I changed my diet to a whole food plant-based diet in 1991 and saw dramatic results within like a week. I was having some lots of fatigue and you know, dry skin, and my hair was falling out. I was on and off diets all the time, trying to lose weight and exercising like a fiend to lose weight. And I decided that just wasn't a healthy mentality, you know, to eat an entire pizza and then go out and run a mile, you know. And so I knew that there was a better way. And when I changed, I just felt so much better. I was kind of more in control of my weight, and my health just got better. I had an experience where I went to a doctor and he told me I needed to be on thyroid medication for the rest of my life. And I felt deep down inside that wasn't something I wanted to do. And so I never took the medication, and it was about that time that I changed my diet, and everything improved, and I just felt so much better. And as I went along and met other people that were doing this and have had the same experience, I just became more and more passionate. And the more I go on and the sicker I see people getting as time goes on, I just am more passionate about teaching people, because there really is power in a really good, healthy diet. I mean, that's the foundation of our health, is what we eat. We can be doing meditation every day, we can be exercising, we can do, you know, all these therapies that are out there, but if our diet isn't good, you know, the bad health's going to creep in sooner or later. So I'm very passionate and excited that you're here and that I can teach you some good, healthy things. So we're going to do 3 salads tonight: Mediterranean zucchini salad, and Better Than Tuna salad wraps, and we're going to also do a Hollywood Bowl brown rice salad. So we got some 3 salads. It's nice and hot this time of year. I personally don't like to be in the kitchen standing over hot things, a hot oven and hot burners, so I like to do lots of salads. So we'll go ahead and start. I'm going to start with the Mediterranean zucchini salad. Who's got like lots of zucchini growing in their garden? Anybody? I can't seem to grow zucchini here, but I go out to Fry's Market and get what they've got. So this is a zucchini-based salad. I really love pasta salad back in the day, and not that there's anything wrong with pasta, but I've kind of gotten away over the years from eating processed flours, you know, processed grains, and just more whole grains. And I wanted to do a pasta-type salad without pasta. And I thought, well, if people use spaghetti, they make spaghetti noodles out of zucchini, why couldn't you make like a pasta salad using zucchini as your pasta? So what I've done here is I've got some zucchini, and I've used my Vidalia Chop Wizard. They have a progressive chopper as well. And I'm going to use this. I have used this smaller blade. There's a large blade this size.
That store that we used to buy them from closed?
You know, Bed Bath & Beyond is where I get it. I've seen them at Target before. That's been a long time ago, but so I'm going to use this smaller blade. And if you don't have one of these, just dice it up. Just, you know, slice it lengthwise like that, and then just chop it up like you normally would. But I'm going to take this entire thing because I want little pasta type strands. I'm just going to take this whole thing, and that's pretty thick. I hope this chops okay, but I'm going to put the whole thing on there and just bam. And there you go. You've got your, yeah, okay. So we've got about, let's see, we've got 4 cups of this zucchini. And then we want to go with some onion. And I like to use red onion in this salad. This is locally grown. I love using locally grown produce. I think it's the best. Now, onions have organosulfur compounds. When you can smell this onion all day long and it won't affect your eyes, make you cry, but as soon as you cut that thing open, those sulfur compounds become activated. And the more you chop, the more activated they become. And those are powerful anti-cancer compounds. In a large European study involving 10 countries, people who ate the most onions had like 74% less risk of cancer, all types of cancer. So you want to get some raw onion into your diet every day. So we're just going to use the small blade on the chopper, and when you've got this thing going, you have there's no more tears, no more crying when you're chopping an onion. By the way, I love comments and questions, so don't be afraid. That often triggers something that I wanted to tell you about whatever, so I like to have an interactive class. So we're just going to add that. And it says about a half a cup, but I'm just going to use that whole onion. I think that's probably pretty close. All right. And then, does everybody have recipes, by the way? I've got some recipes up here if you need to get some. Okay.
Did you say a name for that chopper?
It's the Vidalia, the Vidalia Chop Wizard. Okay. Yes, Sloan.
How often do you replace it? Like, I think I go to mine once a year.
Oh, the chopper? Really? I had one of mine for like 5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
And the wires don't break?
No, I've never had the wires break on these, unless I've tried chopping a carrot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me just intervene for just a moment.
Yes,
If you buy it
please
at Bed
do.
Bath & Beyond and it breaks, you take it back and they'll give you a new one.
Really?
They can look it up by the credit card. If you don't have the receipt, most of us don't keep the receipts with our choppers, especially if it's a couple of years. If your credit card is still on, if it's the same credit card you still have, they can swipe it and they say, oh yeah, you got this here, they'll give you a new one.
Nice. That's good to know. I didn't know
I
that.
have done that.
Because mine have broke before. You know what breaks is these little knobs right here on the side. So, all right, to this we are going to add some corn. And I really like to use fresh raw corn cut right off the cob. I haven't been able to get any good organic, and I will only buy organic because of the genetically modified issue with corn. Like over 90% of the corn grown in our country is genetically modified. They don't know what it does to our gut and to our health. So I want to use organic. So this is the frozen, what you can get at Costco. It works really good in this salad as well. So I'm just going to.
Is the Costco corn organic?
Well, the frozen. It's frozen.
I just tried some of the frozen stuff, and it really tastes good.
It does. It's very sweet. I love it. All right, and then we're going to add some beans. We want to add beans to our diet every day. Beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, the healthier you are. Okay, and in a large population study with like 50,000 people, those who had 1 cup of beans twice a week cut the risk of colon cancer in half. They're high in fiber, low in fat, they're anti-inflammatory, high in complex carbohydrates. If you're looking to eat some carbohydrates, which I hope you are, I know the low-carb diet thing is really popular, but we need carbohydrates. Our brain's main fuel is carbohydrates. Our body's main fuel is carbohydrates. This is the best source of carbohydrates, better than your grains, nutritional-wise. Nutrient density is higher in beans. They have resistant starch, so I'm adding 2 cans, and these are organic. You don't have to use organic. I actually like to cook my own beans from scratch, but for salads, I prefer to use the canned kidney beans because they hold together well. When I cook kidney beans from scratch, they kind of fall apart. So I do like to use the canned beans for salads, any type of salad. Let's see, more about beans. They help to stabilize blood sugar. They remove cholesterol and other fats out of the body, and it's because of the resistant starch in the beans. They resist digestion until they get to the large intestine, and then bacteria turns it into compounds that feed that bacteria. You know, we want to take probiotics and prebiotics. Eat beans. It'll do basically the same thing in a much better way. So whole foods are always better. Okay, then we're going to add some garlic. We've got a couple cloves of garlic. Just going to toss that right in there, minced. And then we're going to put in
that with a knife, or do you actually have a garlic thing?
I chop it.
Okay.
I finally chop it just with a knife, yeah. I've got a garlic press, but then I got to wash the garlic press.
Yeah.
And my knife's already dirty, so I might as well just do that. And then I'm going to add 1 bell pepper that's been chopped. And again, all these things are chopped with the chopper. And then we're going to go with 2 to 3 medium tomatoes. And I'm going to use these cherry tomatoes that I picked off my vine. There's about 2 cups. They're really super yummy. Fresh tomatoes makes this salad. Fresh tomatoes and basil is what makes this salad. You want to make sure you get some really good tomatoes for this salad. Tomatoes are high in lycopene, as you know, and lycopene helps prevent DNA damage by the sun to your skin. I find it interesting that when do tomatoes grow and when are they ripe? They're ripe at the hardest part of the summer when the sun does the most damage to your skin. So if you're eating lots of tomatoes, it's going to protect your skin from that damage. All right, and then we're going to do some olives. I don't use any olive oil at all. When salad calls for olive oil, I use olives. Olive oil is 120 calories per tablespoon of pure 100% fat. It's the highest calorie, lowest nutrient food we consume, and it actually increases risk of heart disease despite all the popular press. The Mediterranean diet is healthy because it's a plant-based diet, not because they pour olive oil on their food. Since the late 80s, when we discovered that olive oil was so wonderful for us, has heart disease gone down? Are we skinnier as a nation? Nope. That's because we're pouring olive oil on we're pouring 120 calories per tablespoon on all of our food. And that's not helpful. As you can see, I'm chopping this with the small blade. We want to get these olives chopped finely. And these are just the ones I get at the organic. Are they organic? They're not organic. Anyway. Olives at Costco. These are really good brand. In studies, you've got a lining in your arteries called endothelial cells. It's kind of like the inner lining of your jacket. It's like the inner lining of your arteries, and it has holes in it, and they produce a substance called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide keeps your blood vessels flexible, so that when you need more blood flow, when you're going out for your run and you need increased blood flow, your arteries can expand. When you're eating olive oil, it shuts that whole nitric oxide process down. It greatly impedes that. Decreases blood flow 40% within 4 hours after a meal that's got olive oil in it. And it's the same with coconut oil, safflower oil, canola oil, all oil. It all does the same thing. Okay, so we got our tomatoes in there and our olives, and then we're going to go with some basil back here. This is about a cup of chopped fresh basil, and this again is the key to making this really good, this and the fresh tomatoes. And then we're going to go with a tablespoon, or a quarter cup actually, of balsamic vinegar. So instead of a vinegar oil dressing, again, we're using the balsamic vinegar and the olives. Another great thing about the olives is they can contain fiber, and fiber draws fats and cholesterol and other substances that you don't want in your body out of your body. So we want fiber. Fiber is so important. In fact, some of those fats are bound to the fiber, so they're going to go right through you. Just like a nut or a seed. The oils and fats and nuts and seeds, part of those fats go right through you because it's bound to those fibers. Yes?
Do you use rice vinegar?
I do. I like rice vinegar. You could use that for this. I really like the balsamic, though, because it's a Mediterranean type salad. All right, and to this, now if you want to leave it like this and not put the grain in it, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want to. Actually, when I first made this salad, I wasn't putting the grain in it. But I do like to add a little bit of quinoa. And this is just pre-cooked quinoa. It's going to be about a couple of cups. And you can just, you can put as much as you want. This kind of makes it a little bit more filling. Quinoa, of course, is really high in protein. And speaking of protein, we've got a handout up here. I hope you picked it up. It's the percentage of protein from plant foods. If you get nothing else out of this class tonight, I want you to go home knowing that you don't have to worry about protein. It's in every food, every plant food on the planet. Americans get about twice as much protein as we need. You would act like, the way we are about protein, we're so obsessed with protein, you would think that we are severely lacking because everybody's looking for protein powders and what's got the best protein, and we don't need to worry about it. All foods are high in protein. Not high in protein, they all have protein. All right, isn't that beautiful? Can you guys see that in the monitor? Yeah, you can see that in the monitor over there. And then you can add a little bit of salt to this. I might sprinkle just a little bit on. The balsamic vinegar really gives it some good flavor, so you don't need to add too much salt.
Is that a salt without iodine?
It is.
How
This
do you
is
actually get the right amount of iodine when you actually just convert it to meditation salt?
well, you know, I hope that I do. I occasionally sprinkle kelp on my food, which is really high in iodine, but you got to be careful with that because it's really high in iodine. I mean, you can overdo it actually on that. So if you're concerned, it'd probably be a good idea to get your blood tested for it to see where you're at. All right, doesn't that look so good? And you'll all get to taste a little bit. So we'll set this out to the back here. Right. So the next recipe we're going to do is the Hollywood Bowl brown rice salad. And this is adapted from, well, it's actually pretty close to the same recipe as a recipe from the Forks Over Knives group. Are you guys familiar with Forks Over Knives? ForksOverKnives.com. Go there and find lots and lots of recipes. Also, I highly recommend their documentary called Forks Over Knives. It will change your life. It could. So, okay. Hollywood Bowl brown rice salad. We're going to start off with some brown rice, and this is a cup of dry brown rice cooked. So I've already got that cooked. And this is a super simple salad. You know, during the summer, I want to keep things really simple. I really like to cook. I love to come home from work and get in the kitchen, and I can spend an hour in the kitchen with no problem. But during the summer, it's a little bit harder. It's, you know, hot, and you want something quick and cool.
Like it's more than a cup.
Well, a cup of dry,
Oh.
which yields about 2.5 to 3 cups of cooked. And this is long grain brown rice. You can use the short grain brown rice. You could use basmati rice if you wanted. I really like the flavor of basmati as well. Okay, so to this we're going to add 1 cup of zucchini, chopped zucchini. And this one, I used the chopper, but I sliced it first and then chopped it. So we've got just a real fine dice right there. And then some cucumber, 1 cup of chopped cucumber. And then we're going to go with a half a cup of green onions. These are just scallions, and I've used part of the green part. I don't like to throw away too much. I think it's all really good for you. We want to try to get, you know, I talked about those organosulfur compounds in onions. We want to try to get some raw onion, raw and cooked both. I mean, they both have really great qualities. The raw has those compounds more bioavailable when they're raw, but when they're cooked, they're also good. All right, let's see, where are we at? Green onions, and then we've got some tomato. And this one, we're gonna use just some regular tomatoes that I've got chopped. Just add those. And then we want some fresh cilantro leaves. Cilantro, of course, draws heavy metals out of your body if you're concerned about that. And I think we all need to be concerned about that because our environment is pretty toxic. Can you grab me another spoon? I'd like to stir. And then we're going to go with some lemon juice. The juice of 2, let's see, we want 1 lemon juiced. Yeah, or a small regular spoon, if there's just a small one, tablespoon. Another little gadget that I love is this citrus reamer or citrus juicer. Lemons have antioxidant power as much as other foods. You guys familiar with the word antioxidant? We've all heard that word. Antioxidants, from now on, I want you to think anti-aging because that's what they do. They keep your cells from aging. You know, when you cut up an apple and you set it on the counter and it starts to turn brown, that's oxidation. And what do you do? You know, what happens when you put lemon on it? It keeps it from turning brown. Well, antioxidants do the same thing in your body. They're not just in lemons, they're in all plant foods, especially those that are high in, or that are deep colors. Purple, your reds, your greens. Those have the most power to protect your cells from that DNA damage. Another really colorful salad. Now if you wanted to add, sometimes I'll add some garbanzo beans to this, but because we're already we got kidney beans in the Mediterranean salad, we're doing a garbanzo bean salad. I'm just going to leave the beans out of this. The original recipe is just is without the beans, but I kind of like it to make it a little more filling and get those beans in again by putting some garbanzo beans are really good in this. I think black beans would be good, you know, with the cilantro, and you could even go with a little bit of chili powder or green chilies or something to make it a little bit spicy as well. So, and then let's see, we've got our lemon juice, and then we want some black pepper.
Is that the recipe better than tuna salad, perhaps? You're talking about garbanzo versus black beans?
No, this one right here. Oh. Yeah, you can put garbanzo beans in here. I like putting garbanzo beans in here, but you could also put the black beans in there. Let's see, I don't know where my pepper went, so we may leave the pepper out. Okay, another way to add oils to our food, we want to get oil. You know, I talked about, or we want to get fats, excuse me, we want to get fats. I talked about oils and how they are not good because they are missing a whole big part of the plant. You know, they've taken the whole food, taken just the oil out, and they've left behind a lot of goodness that's in that whole food. So with this salad, instead of the lemon juice and olive oil, like some people would do, I'm doing lemon juice and avocado. So this avocado, I'm going to cut up and put in this salad and stir it up, and the oils are going to get dispersed throughout the salad. So we've got our whole food oils in here.
Have you ever used the avocado oil at Costco?
I have not. It's better to use the avocado. And I just I like to cut the avocado just right here in the shell. I see some people, you know, peeling the avocado and then trying to slice it, you know, outside of the peel. That's kind of difficult. So I like to do it right in the shell. Another thing about the fibers that are found in the whole food fats is that those fibers slow down the absorption of the fats. So when you consume oil, that oil gets into your bloodstream very quickly and goes right into your fat cells if you're not burning it immediately. The whole food oils in an avocado or a nut or a seed, you have to chew that. You know, it goes through the whole digestive process, and it's a very slow absorption within, you know, over hours time of those oils getting into your body, unlike the straight oils that go directly into your bloodstream. All right, we just give those a good stir, get those avocados stirred right in there and get the oils kind of dispersed. The oils, of course, give it a nice kind of, you know, more rich consistency and make it a little bit more filling. Let's see, are we missing anything? Oh, Jan found me some pepper, thank you. I like to do fresh pepper, but I think I left, I had some, I think I left it home on my counter. All right, I think that is it. Another thing that I like to do with this salad, I'm pretty obsessed with getting green leafy vegetables in, and we're going to get some lettuce in with our lettuce wraps. But I realized tonight as I was putting everything together, I'm not doing a green leafy salad or a kale salad. And one thing that I will do with this sometimes is get some fresh kale and chop it up really fine and massage it with the avocado. So you chop up the avocado, put it in with your kale and massage it and get it real tenderized, and then add all this other stuff. The kale, I was going to do that tonight, but the kale that I had bought was kind of tough and a little bit bitter, and so I decided not to use that. But that's just a great way to include some greens into your diet. So, okay, we will set this to the back and move on to the no tuna salad lettuce wraps. Let's see, we'll put this back here too.
Why is it called better than tuna?
Because it's better than tuna. Tuna is really high in mercury and PCBs and all those terrible things that are in our oceans. I think, you know, fish could be a healthy food if our oceans were clean. But unfortunately, our oceans are terribly, terribly polluted. So, okay, first actually I'm going to jump over to the salad dressing that's going to go on this salad. I like to do this. I don't buy any mayonnaise or any kind of bottled spread. I make my own, and I'm going to show you how to do that tonight. So this is a seed spread, and on your recipe sheet, you've got a second page there. That's where that's at. There's another one on the back of the front page, which is an old recipe. And when I printed those out, I realized, oh, that's not the recipe I want. It's the sunseed spread. So that second page is the one I'm going to do. Let's see, let me get my water. All right, so this is a sunseed spread. It's sunflower seed based. We're going to turn these sunflower seeds into a creamy mayonnaise type spread. So we've got 1 cup of raw, unsalted sunflower seeds. And then we're going to go with a little bit of water here. And we want about 1 cup, but I'm going to start out with less water than we actually need. Because the less water you have in here, the better it's going to blend creamy. And then I'm going to go with 3 tablespoons of, I better get my recipe over here to make sure I don't, make sure I get this right. 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar, if you can find the Bragg's is actually your best brand. It's got the mother floating around there in the bottom. You want that. That's the fermentation process. Got your probiotics in there, which are really good.
In general, is the apple cider vinegar good to have regularly in your diet?
Yes, I hear having a tablespoon in some water in the morning is really, really great for you to help balance, to help alkalize your body, make it alkaline, which we really need. All right, then we're going to go with a juice from 1 lemon, which is about 3 tablespoons. So I don't even measure this. It's most always about 3 tablespoons. And you can do all lemon juice or all apple cider vinegar. If you don't have one or the other, you can just increase the amount of the one that you do have by a little bit. But I like the combination.
How do you get that press? I don't have one of those.
I bought this a long time ago at Christensen's, I think. It was like after Christmas sale or something. But I've seen them all over the place. So, at Walmart. Is it good? Is it a good one? Is it? Good.
I have an electric one, but that's more cumbersome.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, and then we're going to go with some seasonings. We've got 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of mustard powder. Those are already measured out. I'm just going to dump that right in there. And then I want a little bit of salt. We're going to go 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt. Is that 1/2 teaspoon? That is 1/2 teaspoon. All right, and we're just going to blend this up. If you want to make anything creamy, like we're going to do a little bit with our dessert tonight too, adding nuts to make it creamy, but if you want to make a creamy soup or any kind of cream sauce, you can blend nuts or seeds and they work beautifully. So much healthier than your dairy-based creams. So just a little word about blenders. It's helpful, very helpful, to have a good strong blender like a Vitamix or a Blendtec. If you don't, you can still,
What speed were you using for that initially? Then you speed it up.
I've got a variable dial here, and I just started out really slow, and then I just turned it up, and then
Is that Blendtec?
it's a Vitamix, yeah. So just a little bit about a blender, about a high-powered blender. It's an expensive blender. It's about the cost of a major appliance in your kitchen, but it is a major appliance. I use this more than every appliance in my kitchen. I use it more than my stove, my dishwasher, my washer and dryer. It gets used 3 or 4 times a day, and I love it. I've had this thing for about 17, 18 years. Same base. I have changed this out because it starts getting cloudy, and after a certain amount of time, it'll start to leak oil. But I use mine a ton, plus with classes and everything. So I think the average used Vitamix. Does anybody have a Vitamix that they have had a long time? Have you had to replace? Oh, you haven't had it for a long time.
13 years for me.
Oh yeah. Have you had to replace this?
I did. It started to leak a little, but I use mine every day.
Okay. Yeah. Just one time you've replaced it?
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's not bad. Yeah, just the base. And you can actually you can actually order just the blade unit and have them, you can change that out as well. But really, I think a whole new jar is about the same price as a blade, or just the blade. So anyway, well worth it. If you're thinking about, I need a new blender, what should I get? I highly recommend, if you're going to do, whole food cooking, it's the best way to go. Okay, I'm going to give this just a little bit more blend. One thing about this, though, it will heat up a little bit if you blend it too long. That's a little bit warm. I'm going to go ahead and just pour that into a bowl.
Could you use some ice as part of the water?
You could. Mm-hmm. Yep, you could. In fact, I didn't add any more water to this. This is a little bit runny right now, but if you were to put this in the refrigerator, it's going to set up, and it'll be more like spreadable the next day. Because the fibers in the seeds are going to kind of swell, and it'll make this very thick to where you might even have to add a little water to it. People, often worry about the fats in nuts and seeds and don't want to eat too many of them, but studies show that people who eat nuts and seeds on a regular basis burn 11% more calories at rest than people that don't. But if your body is very efficient at converting those fats to body fat, which some people are, then you want to, of course, limit them. But this is, a mayonnaise that you're putting in a whole salad, so you're getting just a small amount. So, yeah, why don't you put that in the fridge for just a minute? That'll cool it down just a bit. Let's see, just a few things about nuts and seeds. They prevent blood vessel inflammation and decrease inflammation throughout the body. They contain special compounds that lower blood pressure and cholesterol, both at the same time. They contain mucilage that lubricates and eases bowel movements. Am I allowed to say that on television? Studies show, small amount of nuts and seeds burn 11% more calories at rest. Eating nuts and seeds with vegetables, which is what we're going to do today, increases the absorption of the nutrients in those vegetables by 10 times. So those fats increase the absorption. So we want to use whole food fats. So we don't want a fat-free dressing on our salad. We want fats, whole fats on our salad. Okay, so our garbanzo beans, or our better than tuna salad wrap, or lettuce wraps, base right here. We've got our garbanzo beans, and I'm going to take my pastry cutter and I'm just going to mash these beans. Much better use of a pastry cutter than pastries. And these beans are cooked from scratch, and you don't need to. You can buy canned beans, but I find that I love the flavor better. They're just I find when I go back to using a canned bean, it tastes like the can. I taste the metal in it. So. And it's super easy to cook your beans from scratch. You just cover them with water, the dry bean, let them sit for about 24 hours. The more bubbly they get, the more you're getting those gassy compounds off, and then you just dump that down the drain. Throw them in a crock pot, cover it with water, cook them all night while you sleep, or all day while you're at work, and they're done when you get up or when you get home, and your house smells like beans, which is not always a great thing. I love the smell of them. My son-in-law comes over and he's like, "You've been cooking beans?" Okay, so we want to chop this up just to where it's kind of a rough chop. We don't want hummus. And chickpeas or garbanzo beans kind of take on a little bit of a kind of a, I don't know, do I dare say a chickeny flavor? You know, they substitute the chicken salad or even the tuna salad really well. Okay, so to this we're going to add some vegetables. I need another spoon. Can you find one? I've got some, okay, I was going to demonstrate this again. We've got our carrots. Now when you want to do, you can shred your carrot, which a lot of times I do, but I didn't bring my shredder with me, so I'm just going to use the small blade again, but you're going to want to slice your onions fairly thin to put them through the chopper. And then I'm going to do just a little bit more celery. Super, super easy to get that diced with that thing. We're just going to dump that right in there, along with 2 cups of celery and 1 carrot that's chopped. And then we're going to put in some green onions again. Going to use those green onions. You could probably use red onion. You can switch out, for any of these salads, you can switch out any kind of onion you want to do. A key ingredient in this is pickles. And I like to use a healthier version, which is these Bubbies that you can find at any health food store. They are naturally fermented and they don't have the yellow number 5 or what, the artificial colorings in them. Thank you for the spoons. So, and I've just got 2 pickles that's been chopped. Again, I use the chopper, the fine blade.
Bubbies, what was that?
What? Pardon me?
Oh, I missed your statement on the Bubbies.
Oh, the Bubbies. They're naturally fermented, and so pickles. Okay. Yep. And you can probably get relish in the Bubbies, but they're kind of expensive anyway, so I'd rather just chop them myself. So I think you save a little bit that way. All right, let's see, where did my recipe sheet go? I want to make sure we got everything in this salad. So we've got our beans, carrots, celery, onions, mustard. We still need the pickle, salt, and pepper. Okay, so I'm just going to stir this up, and we're going to add some mustard, a tablespoon of mustard.
Can you substitute mustard powder?
No.
You don't think so?
No, you'd want to use mustard, or just leave it out if you don't like mustard. I find, so I'll go with I buy very few bottled packaged things, but if I can find something that's clean, that doesn't have a lot of garbage in it, and mustard, this particular Western Family brand, is just water, mustard seeds, salt, turmeric, and paprika, so it's pretty clean. And I do like mustard. I don't use a ton of it. It is high salt, but you're only using a small amount. And we're going to go 2 tablespoons of that. Can I get that mayonnaise, Jan? Or that sunny seed spread. And we're going to go, thank you, we're going to go about a half a cup or 3/4 cup. Isn't that amazing how those seeds grind up to that creamy consistency? I love that. I've made like a whipping cream, Cool Whip type of thing with cashews, doing the same thing. Now this you can serve in a pita pocket with some lettuce and avocado, tomato, all of that kind of stuff. You can roll it up in a wrap. My favorite wraps to use are Ezekiel sprouted grain, whole grain wraps. You could also use it as a dip for crackers. I love dipping this, it's great. Whoop. Okay, Jan, I need to have you come taste.
You're right there.
Oh, I need to know if it needs to have more mayo on it. I like Jan to be my taster tester.
Tad.
A little bit more, okay. Okay. And we'll go a little bit of pepper with this as well. And you can even go a little bit more salt. I try to, I kind of try to go light on salt, using salt, but I do use it. Salt is it's It's all sodium chloride. It's all, it all will increase blood pressure if you use too much of it. So you need to try to eliminate or try to get it down as much as you can. All right. That looks and smells really good. So we're not gonna do this in a lettuce wrap. So we're not using any bread. We'll just use some lettuce leaves to serve that. I'm just gonna put that over there. In fact, Jen, do you want to start dishing up? And there's some lettuce leaves right there. All right. So I know you all are here for dessert mainly, right? That's why you're here tonight. That's why I would come. I love dessert. I think dessert is an important part of our diet. It's, it goes with so much tradition, ice cream especially, and that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to do a cherry chocolate ice cream. So what I've got here is we want to add some cream to this, okay? And as I said, cashews, nuts make a really great cream base. In fact, if you wanted to do just vanilla ice cream without the cherries, you could do just cashews, and these are dates. Dates are my favorite sweetener. They're whole food. All the parts of the plant are still there. It's no process. I've taken out the pits, of course. You don't want to be blending a pit. It's not a fun experience to dig out a pit. So a basic vanilla ice cream would be cashews, dates, a little bit of vanilla, like a cup of cashews, cup of dates, a tablespoon of vanilla, 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon. And you just blend it in your blender, and you can freeze it in an ice cream freezer. That's all it is for vanilla ice cream. And then you can add cocoa powder. You could add some fruit to make it fruity. This one is going to be, again, it's going to be a cherry chocolate. So I'm going to start off with my cashews. This is ½ cup of cashews and ½ cup of dates. And I've had this soaking in some water in the refrigerator so it's cold. We want to make sure it's cold. Let's see, is that ½ cup? It says on your, yeah, you don't want to have too much water. In fact, I think I've got less than a cup in here because we want to start off with less. I would cover it. The recipe says a cup, but I would just cover the dates and the nuts just so they get nice and soft. And then if you need to add more water, because it's better to have less water, because you want to, we're going to blend this to make ice cream right now. We're not going to have to freeze this because the cherries are going to be frozen. At least that's the plan. If you have to blend it too much, it may end up getting a little bit too runny, but we're going to hope that we don't have to blend too much. Pardon me? Nope. Frozen. I try to go easy, and pitting 2 cups of cherries just isn't very fun. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and blend these nuts and dates up a little bit. That looks so good. So to this, I'm gonna go ahead and add some vanilla. About a ½ teaspoon or a teaspoon of vanilla, I think, is what's in there. Yep, a teaspoon. See how that turned into a cream? We just add a little bit more water to that, and that would be a perfect cream to freeze in your ice cream freezer. Oh, yes, absolutely. Let's see, I need a cup. Okay, we're going to go 2 cups of cherries, frozen cherries. Oh, we need, pardon me? Frozen, I get these at Costco. I like to go organic as much as I can. Just a little bit about the organic thing. There's a list called the Dirty Dozen put out by the Environmental Working Group. And they say if you stick to those, the Dirty Dozen organic, that you'll cut your pesticide exposure by, I don't know what percentage, but by a great amount. So I try to go organic with the Dirty Dozen, and then if I can find some reasonably priced organic, I try to do organic as much as I can. So where's that tablespoon? Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
Start with this, and then we'll scoop the other. That's a half. Will that work?
tablespoon. That's okay. We want, how much cocoa do we want? We want 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Is that good and dry? Probably not.
Here you go.
Oh, I got one right here.
You want them to start with this right now?
Let's,
Sure, we can put the other 2 salads on.
yeah. I'm trying to think how many plates I have. Why don't you go ahead and put, yeah, I'm not sure if we've got enough plates. Why don't you go ahead and put the other on there?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. And this is the Ghirardelli. I like it. Of course, you can't go wrong with cocoa powder, right? And this is not, of course, you don't want the sweetened, quick type Hershey's Quick. Just gonna blend that in. Whoops. Okay, we'll go 2 cups of frozen cherries. Okay. And that's it. We're going to go ahead and transfer this to a bowl, and I'm going to do another batch so we have plenty. So one thing about desserts, like I said, I believe that desserts play an important part of a healthy diet, but we got to make sure they're healthy. We got to make sure that they, are full of healthy ingredients. So of course I'm using all whole foods in this. One thing about these desserts, though, they're still high calorie, high fat foods, and we need to treat them like desserts. And I always tell people to make this when you have a lot of friends to share it with, because quite frankly, I could very easily sit down to that whole thing right there.
I think the thing I like about what you're doing here, it doesn't have any milk.
Right, I don't use any dairy products. Milk is made to grow a baby cow from 60 pounds to 600 pounds in like just a few months, and I don't need that kind of growth stimulating things in my cells that stimulates cancer growth and causes all kinds of other problems. So I don't recommend drinking cow's milk. I'm going to put this in the freezer while I blend up the other batch. Oops. If you're interested in the whole cancer issue, a great book is The China Study. I've got quite a few books over here if you want to just after class come up and take a peek at them. These are my favorite authors, Dr. Joel Fuhrman. T. Colin Campbell wrote The China Study. He goes in about the cancer issue and how milk proteins stimulate cancer growth. And let's see, who else do I? Oh, How Not to Die is another favorite author, Dr. Michael Greger. It's not how not to die, it's how not to die of, and each chapter is dedicated to each type of disease. What's that?
Are you going to speak about broccoli? I've read some articles that say when you actually steam or cook broccoli, you destroy a lot of sulforaphane product, which is an anti-cancer ingredient.
You know what helps with that, though, is if you chop it ahead of time and let it sit, and that develops. Yeah. And then also if you add...
Do it fresh rather than... even steaming, they said, destroys some of those.
Yeah, but what you do is you add some raw to it. So some raw, maybe a salad with some raw cruciferous vegetables in it that's got that, and that will, combined with the cooked, will activate that. Have you heard that?
I've also heard that if you add some mustard powder to it, that it'll assist in that as well.
Yes. Do you listen to Michael Greger?
No, I just read a good book.
Oh, okay. Because he talks about that. Nutritionfacts.org. In fact, I've got that listed on your recipe sheet. On the second page, I've got a couple of resources. In fact, I really encourage people to go to that and learn from them. I don't like people going home from my classes and going, April said that I shouldn't drink cow's milk anymore. I don't want you to say that. I want you to go home and I want you to look at some of those I just put 2 on there because some people can get overwhelmed with too much educational information. Those are my 2 favorites. Dr. Joel Fuhrman on YouTube, if you listen to some of his stuff, and nutritionfacts.org. Lots of really great information about nutrition on there. So I'm just going to add a little bit more water to that and just blend up our, oh, we need some vanilla. I didn't have this one soaking quite as long, so it's not blending up quite as creamy. It's good if you, like I said, if you soak. I don't know if I mentioned that. If you want to soak your nuts and dates before you blend them, so they blend up quickly and smooth.
You soaked them before?
Yes, I did. This batch not quite as much. The other I soaked overnight, but 4 hours is really plenty. Jan is going to pass out your food, and
Right in front of the camera.
that's okay. So I always encourage people that, you know, wherever you're at with your dietary regimen, you're here tonight obviously because you're interested in eating healthier. Just, you know, kick it up a notch wherever you're at. If it seems really overwhelming, like if you want to go more plant-based, more vegetables in your diet, and it seems overwhelming, just take it a step at a time. And the more, you know, the more you can include into your diet, the better off you're gonna be. And education is key. You know, so many people want to do better, but they don't really have the education to, you know, they don't really know why and what the foods do for them. So it's hard to get real motivated. I mean, I don't know. Kale, people who eat cruciferous vegetables twice a week, and we're not doing any cruciferous vegetables tonight, but those who eat those twice a week have half the risk. Women have half the risk of breast cancer. I mean, I would think, for me anyway, that totally motivates me to have kale like every day. Yes?
What are some other kale tips?
What, some other what?
Kale tips. Like, I had one friend tell me to like soak it in salt water.
Uh-huh.
And the massage it thing, because a lot of people just, you put kale and stuff, they're like, oh, it's gross, it's bitter.
You know, it kind of depends. What's that?
I keep trying it, it never tastes good.
Oh, you never taste good? Do you
No.
steam it or just do it raw?
Raw.
Raw.
Try steaming it. One thing that I love to make is,
Salad?
for salads,
Steam it for
oh,
salad?
no, I steam it and just cook it as a side, like have it as a side dish, or put it in a lot of things. I use kale a ton in cooked foods. In fact, I'll use it in like Mexican food, like a burrito mix or something. I'll do kale and onions and black beans. In fact, I have a recipe for kale and black bean tacos that's to die for. I mean, you just steam kale and you take an avocado and you mash it up and you mix it into the kale and add some chili powder and cumin, and it's so very good. I do love raw kale though too, but the key is getting it tenderized enough and getting good kale. Like I said, this stuff that I bought tonight that I was going to put with the rice salad, it was too bitter, and so I don't know if it was just, you know, had grown too much, got too much heat. It was just, I don't know what the deal was, but sometimes I'll get some nice good tender kale that I can tenderize really well with massaging it. And I massage it with either olives or avocado or tahini.
Not salt water.
I don't do the salt water.
Soak it in salt water.
Yeah, I don't do the salt water. That's a good idea. I should try that. I've never tried the salt water. So
Yeah, the salt's supposed to take the bitter out.
is it?
She would make just like raw.
Uh-huh.
Green salad. And that's what she always
You know, I do this Mediterranean zucchini salad with kale. That's a favorite. I've done that for a cooking class, and in fact I had a couple, and the gentleman was like that he couldn't believe that it was so good because he doesn't like doing raw kale. So you might want to try this salad with I think that calls for like 2 to 4 cups of kale, chopped kale, and you massage it with the olives that's in this salad. It's basically the same recipe, but just with this is the zucchini instead of the kale. So just massage the kale with lemon juice and the garlic and the olives, and just massage it until it's really tender, and then you throw all this other stuff in. Do you like that zucchini salad? So yeah, and it's the same kind of flavor. The balsamic vinegar does a really nice job at, kind of covering up the flavor of the kale, and it's really good. It's one of my favorites. All right, you guys. Well, I am so happy that you came tonight. And again, just wherever you're at, just kick it up a notch. Try to get more fruits and vegetables into your diet. This is the best time of year to do that, right? With all the salads. And I always encourage people at least once a day, make your meal a big salad, especially leafy greens. Again, I didn't do really any leafy greens today, but I encourage people to do a big leafy green salad every day. And these salads actually are really good to put on top of like the rice salad and and even the no tuna lettuce wraps. You could put that on a salad, just a bunch of chopped up romaine lettuce, and mix that in. That would be really good. The Mediterranean zucchini salad, put it on a bed of spinach. That would be really good. So just get more of those veggies in, more of those green leafy vegetables in. So I am here, thank you. I am here doing a Healing Power of Plant Foods cooking class about once every other month during the winter fall season. I'm just doing this one class this summer. So I'm so grateful you guys came.